This is the AI News Flash for July 24th, 3 a.m. UTC. First up, the United States, China, and the other APEC economies have issued the Chengdu Statement, pledging support for open-source AI with strong security assurance. The statement came out of the APEC Digital Weeks in Chengdu, China, where Li Leicheng, China's Minister of Industry and Information Technology, spoke at a press conference on July 23rd. According to Li, this is the first APEC AI statement to include open-source cooperation at the ministerial level, and it explicitly emphasizes respect for security, data protection, and intellectual property rights. All 21 member economies recognize the risks of AI and encourage dialogue across governments, the private sector, and academia to share information on cybersecurity, supply chain resilience, and online scams. With both Washington and Beijing tightening controls on their homegrown AI capabilities, a multilateral agreement around open source marks a notable turn in AI geopolitics. Next up, China's largest memory chip maker, Changxin Memory Technologies, or CXMT, is sparking fears of a cash drain from Chinese equities ahead of its blockbuster market debut. CXMT is set to list on Shanghai's Star Market on July 27th after raising $8.6 billion, making it Asia's biggest IPO of the year, roughly double its original fundraising target of 29.5 billion yuan. Tim Sun, senior researcher at Hashkey Group, says the listing is reinforcing worries over a liquidity squeeze because investors expect CXMT's valuation to rapidly exceed 1 trillion yuan, about $139 billion after listing. The impact is already visible. The Star 50 index, which tracks Shanghai's largest tech names, has slid almost 20% this quarter as money rotates toward the IPO. Third story, AI chip startup Etched has closed a $300 million Series C round, more than doubling its valuation to $10.3 billion since December. The round was led by Sequoia, with participation from SK Hynix, Andreessen Horowitz, and Jane Street. Etched builds inference-focused chips packaged as custom appliances with specialized cooling and interconnects, featuring a mechanism that lowers voltage and temperature to hit higher clock frequencies than traditional GPUs, plus rack-level shared memory it calls cluster-scale memory. The company is building a production facility in San Jose and expects to ship its first racks this summer. CEO Gavin Ubardi says the infrastructure required to serve frontier AI sustainably was never going to come from incremental improvements to existing hardware. Fourth story, Japan's Nikkei fell 2.82% on Friday to 64,549, weighed down by concerns over uncertain returns on AI infrastructure spending. The drop tracked a sharp overnight pullback on Wall Street, where the Nasdaq lost 2.15%. SoftBank Group sank 5.85%, and Kioxia dropped 3.83% as AI-related names led the decline. South Korea's KOSP also fell more than 3%, with SK Hynix down 3.91% and Samsung Electronics losing just over 3%. Escalating tensions between the U.S. and Iran, along with Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, are pushing oil toward $100 a barrel, adding pressure for profit-taking in tech stocks that had rallied hard in recent weeks. Last story. A project called ESP32AI is drawing attention in the developer community for running a 28.9 million parameter language model entirely on an ESP32S3, a microcontroller that costs just a few dollars. Shared on Reddit by developer Selvidev, the system generates about 9 tokens per second while running fully on chip. The trick is recognizing that most of a language model's parameters sit in a big embedding table that is read from rather than computed on. The developer stored a 25 million parameter table in Flash using memory-mapped access, loading only about 450 bytes per token, while keeping a roughly 560,000 parameter dense core in fast RAM. Despite its tiny size, the model can tell coherent stories while tracking narrative variables, and the code is available on GitHub. It is a striking example of edge AI democratization. That's all for this AI News Flash.